A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 270th episode of the Together for Education webinars brought to you by Notebook. As we proudly completed our 200th episode early this year, remembering our journey, it was back in 2020 when we here at Notebook decided to launch a platform for the educators to connect meaningfully on discussing problems they were facing with the rising need of digital education and online learning and arrive at common solutions. Little did we know that day about this platform growing so big, where principals and educators from across the length and breadth of the country have participated over so many sessions. We thank you all once again for supporting us, and we would look forward to your gracious presence in all our upcoming episodes. We have had discussed extremely relevant topics here, like digital learning, NEP and assessments, extracurricular topics like sports and theatre, topics like school finance and management, and even evolved topics like child psychology. Our today's topic is, should AI be used in schools? Artificial intelligence is something which has revolutionized the human activities across the globe. What is the scope of AI in schools? Let's hear from the experts today. Our first speaker on this topic is Mr. Burrett. Mr. Burrett retired as a deputy headmaster from the illustrious Doon school in Dehradun after 44 years of serving in education across various institutions. Mr. Burrett served the Doon school as housemaster, head of department, dean of activities, dean of student welfare, deputy headmaster, second master, and acting headmaster with great distinction. He also carried out a visioning exercise for the Doon school in Dehradun in the year 2011 through an in-depth study of a number of British public schools and various schools in the US. Mr. Burrett qualified as a leadership trainer at Wellington College, UK in the year 2000. He's also an athlete, an adventurer, and a naturalist. And we here at Notebook are privileged to have Mr. Burrett as our senior advisor. Sir, a very good evening. Thank you so much for being here today, and over to you, please.
Thank you very much, Kagori. I hope I am audible. Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, and very good evening to everyone at Notebook, and Achin and you and everyone there. And of course, good evening to our esteemed panelists and our guests. Interesting topic, which is not my favorite topic, but it is a buzzword today in education. And as mind-boggling as AI is, if we take a little time, we will understand it. It is used in Alexa, in Siri, in self-driving cars, in iPhone face recognition. It is all around us, whether they realize it or not. People are using it, every day in their lives. Artificial intelligence is the ability for a computer to think and learn. With AI, computers can perform tasks that are typically done by humans, including processing language, problem solving, and learning. AI is a tool, just like many other things. It's just a tool. In today's fast-paced world, where the role of IA is booming, especially in education, we have to think of it. It's because education is a critical area where it can make substantial impact. By incorporating AI in education, we can bridge the gap in access and quality, ensuring that students receive personalized, efficient, and engaging experience. Now, increasing number of educators today say that schools need to figure out on how to leverage AI for the benefit of students and teachers. And while it has its pros, it also has its downsides. If we look at the jobs of tomorrow, they haven't been even created. And people are thinking and debating, if it's going to be useful for the world tomorrow, then I think it's important that schools learn to accept it. Now, whenever we are faced with something new, yesterday we were faced with calculating machines. Before that, it was computers. Whenever something new comes up, there are three ways to look at it. One is, oh gosh, it's a horrible thing. We cannot have it. We must not have it. The second approach is, yes, it is impressive, but it's early days, and we have to look at the change. We have to find good ways of using it, develop appropriate use policies, and try to fit it into the instructions we have. Of course, the third position is this changes the nature of work and the nature of life. It's going to create enormous joblessness. We need to prepare our students for a future, very different future world. We don't really understand that word, but we really need to rethink fundamentally the nature of education. What students learn, how they learn, what are the roles of teachers and students. Now, schools have a tendency to overload teachers and add things to the school day, school calendar, without actually, taking anything away. And the load on teachers becomes important, too much. What we need to do is to integrate it very slowly. How can we use it in ways that save teachers time? And there needs to be adjustment in the curriculum, in the technologies available, in the teacher training, in the assessments. See, there are so many stakeholders involved in education that if you make changes, parents need to be, understand what's happening. Policymakers need to be brought into it. Curriculum development people have to be brought into it. Assessment developers. Universities also have a role because they decide what courses schools must do. And therefore, with so many stakeholders involved, one has to move very slowly. Of course, there are multiple advantages and roles that AI have in education. I'm just going to take you briefly through a few. The first is it leads to personalized learning. Most significant advantage is that it personalizes learning experience for every student. Traditional classroom settings often fail to cater to the unique learning styles and needs of each individual. With AI, educational software can be tailored to adapt to each student's learning preference and pace. Also with, the embedment of games, creation of interactive games, this makes learning more interesting, immersive, more fun. Then, of course, it helps to create really good smart content, digital learning interfaces with customization options, digital textbooks, study guides, bite-sized lessons. All this can be made through AI. Also, it can become a visualization stimulation. We can bring visuals into the classroom that nothing has ever done before. Also, updating of learning helps generate and update content. Also, it leads to automation of tasks. Teachers can save a lot of time if certain administrative and repetitive tasks like grading assessments, grading research papers, maintaining reports, creating presentations, all this can be automated. It can save a teacher's time. Also, as I said earlier, using AI algorithms, we can actually help grade assessments and exams more efficiently. The other role is in the tutor's role. Continuously evolving personal study programs take into account the student's gaps and it fills the gaps. It can be like a tutor. A student can go to it whenever they want. Also, we need to ensure the adoption of innovative AI technologies opens new ways for students who have disabilities to learn better. It helps a lot of disabled children. Also, lessons tailored to the needs of different learning groups, as I said earlier, allows students to stop comparing them to each other. Earlier, a student should have asked a teacher for help in front of the class. Now, it's just enough to type a query using a personal visual assistant and get an instant explanation. These opportunities offered by AI tools make personal progress come to the front, reducing the pressure in the classroom. AI also can make education more accessible and inclusive for a global audience by providing multilingual support to cater to the needs of students from diverse backgrounds and different learning needs. AI can help identify areas where students need to improve. By analyzing students' performance data, the teacher can get a better feedback and he can pinpoint areas where students need specific help. AI-powered predictive analysis can help educators identify students who are at risk of falling behind or even dropping out of school by providing early intervention, into the student. And educators can help these students stay on track. Also, it can help teachers by providing them with insights and recommendations based on students' previous performance data. This can help educators improve their teaching methods. As I said, better feedback, objectively and unbiased ways of feedback after tests. Also, rapid growth of online education has ensured the security and authenticity of educational data and content, which is very important. Lastly, I think AI can also help by improving examinations and assessments. You can also help detect spurious behavior in the exam centers, ensuring that testing is fair and secure. I would also like to say that to ask the question, are our schools ready for this? I know it's going to be a future, it's going to be very important in the future, but the trouble with India is that there is a big gap between the schools that have everything and the schools in rural areas where we are really miles behind. And AI is only going to widen this gap. Do schools have the money? Do they have the funds? Also, if you have the funds, money, and the trained personnel, what exactly are you going to incorporate? There's such a broad and such a large buffet of what is available. So I think it's important for some schools to start with getting blackboards first, drinking water, getting teachers who can come to school every day. I think there's a lot of things that has to be done as priority before you bring in AI. Of course, there are schools in this country which are ready for it, and I'm sure they have already started. But what worries me is this big gap between the schools that are going to have AI in a short while and schools that don't even have a blackboard and a teacher present. So while I would conclude that it is something that has to come in, just like calculators and laptops and wired schools, 24/7 wired schools, AI is going to come in, but how it's going to come in and when it's going to come in is up to every school to decide. With that, Gangwar, I'm going to hand you over to the panel. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for those deliberations. As usual, you have set the ball rolling for this discussion. Our next speaker on this topic is Mr. Achin Bhattacharyya, CEO and founder at Notebook. A chartered accountant by training, Achin was a director at Deloitte prior to starting Notebook. He has worked in India and abroad in various senior capacities in GE, PwC, KPMG, and Deloitte. Achin is a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales, a fellow of the ICAI, a member of CP Australia and CPA Ireland, and a member of CIMA UK. He is also the recipient of the prestigious Indian Achievers Award. An avid reader and a passionate traveler, Achin has keen interests in economics, history, literature, and philosophy. He's a regular speaker at various forums and chambers of commerce and also contributes articles to numerous publications regularly. He's also on the board of some of the most renowned corporates and contributes significantly to their brand strategies. Achin, a very, very good evening, and over to you, please.
Good evening, everyone. Gangwar, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
I once again welcome all of you to today's session. Education strikes at the heart of what makes us human. And we'd all agree that it influences everything. It influences the intellectual capacity, it influences the overall prosperity of a nation. And today, whatever achievements we see around us, whether human being reaching the moon or eradication of previously incurable diseases, education is at the center stage. And perhaps that is the reason that, considering the special status of education, generative AI tools such as, if I take a very common example, ChatGPT, are likely to profoundly disrupt the sector. And the way I look at it, this necessarily isn't a reflection of their intelligence, but perhaps a reminder that soon enough, we will need to build education systems that nurture and value our unique human intelligence. We are being duped into believing these AI tools are far more intelligent than they really are. For instance, if you look at ChatGPT, it has no understanding or knowledge. It merely collates bits of words together based on statistical probabilities to produce useful texts. And I completely agree that it's an incredibly helpful assistant, but it is not knowledgeable or wise. It has no concept of how any of these words it produces relates to the real world. But the fact that it can pass so many forms of assessment merely reflects that those assessments were not designed to test knowledge and understanding, but rather to test whether people had collected and memorized information. Now, artificial intelligence has the potential to revolutionize the way we learn and teach, and there's no doubt about it. As a tool in the classroom, it can provide students with personalized learning experiences, automate repetitive tasks, provide instant feedback. However, I think before before we pass a judgment, we should consider all the aspects in order to take a more balanced view. Now, first of all, if I come to the advantages, personalized learning to me is one of the key advantages. And it can analyze data on student performance within fraction of a second and provide customized, tailored support to improve their learning. And that, of course, is a huge blessing. Getting instant feedback and AI powered tools can provide students with immediate feedback. So there's no time gap. So naturally, it will help them to identify and correct their mistakes quickly. The other advantage is ability to automate repetitive tasks. So whether it is grading assignments or quizzes, if it's a repetitive task, which can free up educators' time for other more important tasks, such as lesson planning, providing one-on-one attention to students. Of course, there's a whole list of tasks which only educators can do. Now, it is important to note that these tools, when you discuss about AI, should not be looked at ways to replace educators, but rather ways to assist them, to help them in their work so that they can utilize their time more productively. Now, if we look at the downside and the challenges, here also we have a long list. First of all, cost of developing and implementing any AI powered educational tool. And Burrett made a very valid point. There are other more fundamental needs which perhaps will need to be addressed on a priority basis. So, cost naturally can be a significant barrier for schools and educators who need more resources to invest in AI. Another big challenge is lack of human interaction and emotional support that only a teacher can provide. AI powered educational tool, irrespective of the level of sophistication, can never ever provide the warmth, the emotional support that only a human instructor can provide. And emotional support, we all agree, can do wonders, which is so important. So relying too heavily on AI powered educational tools naturally may impact students negatively, since it leaves out the entire human factor, emotional factor. The other very important concern, especially in today's age, is privacy, which is a very serious limitation if AI is not used properly. Because any AI powered educational tool will work with big data, a lot of data, which it will not only collect and store, but also try to analyze on a continuous basis to come up with analysis. But many of these data are very sensitive in nature, sensitive personal data. Hence, there is a huge concern, which naturally parents, educators, and all other stakeholders will have with regard to privacy and security. So hence, if we look at it from a more holistic perspective, the factors to consider, naturally cost, a significant barrier which comes in. And hence, in order to mitigate this, we need to explore alternative funding options, maybe grants, partnership, which will help in offsetting the cost. Human interaction, as we mentioned, that it can never ever replace the human and emotional support the students need to succeed. Now, hence, here the role of educators is very important, who can ensure that students genuinely benefit out of artificial intelligence and get a more well-rounded education, which will be a blend of both personalized learning and human interaction. Other, of course, privacy security that we discussed, and hence proper checks and balances will need to be maintained. And naturally, there needs to be continuous development in terms of improvement of AI capabilities. So lack of creativity or originality or lack of any kind of limited understanding of context can be disastrous. Here we are not discussing about a factory, we are not discussing about a warehouse. We are discussing about the future of our nation. Hence, it's very important that original creative ideas be brought in and we think out of the box. The other important aspect, which is very important, is ethical considerations. So we should consider the ethical implications of using AI technology in education and develop tools in a manner which is transparent, fair, and responsible, which is in line with the law of the land, be it regulation governing data privacy, security, intellectual property, etc. And if these things are adequately taken care of, undoubtedly AI has the potential to be a huge value addition in the classroom. Still, we should develop AI tools with caution and in collaboration with all stakeholders. Everybody's view needs to be incorporated. They will all have divergent views. They look at things from their own perspective, and only together, be it educators, students, parents, the government, and only that can ensure that you have something which is helpful, ethical, and effective, which will meet expectation of each and everyone. And today, educators and parents around the world are trying to understand how these tools can be optimally used, but more importantly, more pressingly, how to stop any potential misuse. It could be a force, it could be a tremendous force within education. And one of the biggest advantages, key advantages that I see, that it can free up an educator's time from routine administrative tasks, which will give them more time to spend with their students. Now, human intelligence, the way I look at it, is far more impressive than any AI system we see today. And undoubtedly, it's much more rich and diverse. But sadly, much of it is often left unutilized. Hence, I think with time, human beings will need to excel at what perhaps artificial intelligence cannot do. More creative areas of work, where imagination comes into play, work which is not repetitive, which is not routine, which is not predictable. So that any workplace automation complements and enriches our life and our intelligence. And this way, it could be an amazing opportunity to use AI to become much more smarter. But I think the key point is we must ensure that AI serves us and not the other way around. So these are some a few thoughts that I wanted to share with all of you. I thank you for giving me a very patient hearing. We have a wonderful panel here, panel of very senior educators, and I look forward to hear their views on this very important topic. Over to you, Gauri.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Achin, for those wonderful deliberations. Thank you so much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, to discuss this topic further, we do have a wonderful panel lined up for you today. But before we start with the panel discussion, a little bit about us here at Notebook. We at Notebook are an edtech platform that creates short videos pertaining to the school curriculum. This means that every topic from every subject of the school syllabus has been converted into a series of short videos that can be used in two different cases. One is when you as a teacher are starting out a topic in your classroom, you can play one of these videos as a method of visually introducing the topic to your students. These videos are just 6 to 10 minutes in duration and take up very little of your class time while offering the right kind of material to students to generate curiosity and excitement. The second is when the student is studying at home months later, they have access to the same videos on their personal devices, be it a laptop or a smartphone. They can watch the videos over and over again until they get a very clear understanding of the topic that you have taught them. What I am going to do now is play you a mashup of notebook videos so that you know what they exactly look like.
Now you'll be able to tell easily that the bumper car is 5 units above you and Ferris wheel is 6 units below you on the map. The midpoint of the x-axis and that of the y-axis intersect at a point called the point of origin and denoted by O.
Seeing his monstrous size, they run away in terror before Gulliver can catch up with them. Gulliver tries to achieve a distance between the monster and himself.
There are 4 important functions of the financial markets. Allocative function. It provides the link between the savers and investors. It gives the savers different options of investment and channelize their funds to the most productive use.
हमने कविता में देखा जब वो स्कूल से बाहर निकाला गया तब भी मेमना बाहर उसका इंतजार करता रहा जब तक कि मैरी लौट नहीं आई और उसके आते ही वह उछलते हुए उसकी गोद में जा बैठा.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was a small part of some of our videos as you just now saw. We have today connected with over 3,500 schools and have had millions of students and teachers benefit from our videos. If you head over to our website www.notebook.school, you would find all such videos at your disposal. If you want notebook in your school, please do get in touch with our sales team at sales@notebook.school. With that, it is now time to introduce the wonderful panelists that we have with us today. We have with us Dr. Rupmala Singh Ma'am, Chairman, Heritage Academy, Uttarakhand. Ma'am is an educationalist with a solid commitment to social and academic growth and development of studies. She currently owns and runs this wonderful child-friendly boarding school in Uttarakhand, aiming at developing a child's physical, emotional, and mental personality, manifesting his unique self. She has worked with several media organizations like ABP Group, Hindustan Times, and India Today Group, and loves to write and featured regularly in leading dailies and magazines. In a long career span, she has donned many caps of a journalist, a brand marketing professional, a youth marketer, an entrepreneur, a teacher, self-taught painter, and a studio potter. She's a fitness enthusiast, loves to read, write, paint, cook and preserve, embroider and knit. Ma'am, a very, very good evening and welcome back to the panel once again. Next, we have with us Ms. Pooja Sharma, ma'am, Principal of Podar World School, Manisha, Gujarat. Ma'am is a quality-oriented professional with nearly 18 years of experience in teaching, administration, and marketing strategies. She has an extensive experience in conducting workshops, trainings, seminars, and organizing conferences. Apart from accomplishments in the field of education, she has received School Excellence Leadership Award as the Progressive Principal of India 2018 and Indian Icon Award in 2019 by Center of Education Development. She has also received the invitation by the Ministry of Education, Sri Lanka, to attend the 4-day principal workshop in Sri Lanka under the leadership of Podar World School. She has, under her leadership, the Podar World School has received 5-star rating award in the field of innovative teaching methodologies. Ma'am, a very good evening and warm welcome from Notebook. We also have with us Dr. Manisha Gangwar, Principal, Drishti, Dr. R.C. Jain, Innovative Public School, Punjab. Ma'am has a doctorate in development psychology and has more than 21 years of school education experience in various capacities. She has been a resource person for CBSE's Adolescent Education Program and Student Global Aptitude Testing Program. Besides this, she is a CBSE Helpline Study Counselor to handle examination anxiety since its inception. She is also appointed as a telecounselor by the Ministry of Human Resource Development for its Manodorpan initiative for mental well-being and has presented papers in many national and international conferences. Ma'am, a very, very good evening and welcome to the panel once again. If I can kindly ask my panelists to, okay, everyone's camera is on. I wanted to start with Dr. Rupmala Singh, ma'am. Ma'am, a very good evening. Welcome to the panel. Ma'am, my question to you would be like, how do we approach AI in schools? What is the exact balance we should maintain?
Right. You've asked a 58-year-old to talk about AI. So I will come with a set of preconceived notions when I'm speaking. It is, okay, right? Everybody knows what AI is. It's generative AI, which is basically, in a simple language, it generates text, images, and data when asked to do so, right? Now, the problem with all of us in the panel is, if the schools, as schools, we have to figure out how to utilize AI and how to leverage AI for our students. AI is good. I am sure anything that is progressive is good. But do we know how to use it? It's a very, very difficult question. So instead of just telling today about what I feel about AI, what I did after Gagori, you got in touch with me, is speak to people around, other school heads, other educationists, to find out what is their views about AI. And I also wanted to see whether it matches. So, yes, people have various opinions and different responses to the usage of AI in school. The scope of AI is very large, just as Mr. Burrett mentioned in his talk a couple of minutes back. And we are not going into the entire scope of AI. We are educationists of a bracket of children till K-12. So we should be just bothered about that. Now, yes, people are worried. People are in the education sector is worried. They have a worry, and there are basically three distinct thought processes that is happening in the educationists regarding AI in schools. First is worry. AI is horrible. It writes their essays for them. All teachers are saying, oh my God, now what is going to happen is I give them to write a project. They're going to go to ChatGPT. They're going to type the question out, copy the answer, and come and give it to me. It's going to be horrible. The second lot, who have given it a little thought, say, yes, AI is incredible. It is incredible, but at the end of the day, AI is only a tool. Do the children and the teachers know how to use the tools to the best abilities? Can they leverage it for the students? It's a major problem. It's a major worry whether we will be able to use the tremendous, incredible ability that AI has. The third set of educators fear. They have a fear that this imminent change that we are seeing, will we match up to it? Will we be able to catch up with it? Will our children be educated enough to get into this world of AI where the jobs, today content writing is a major job in the world. A lot of children from all the schools, especially from literature and humanities, are getting into content writing. What is going to happen to that stock of children? There'll be no need for content anymore, content writers anymore. So that is a major worry. What is the major, how will the world adjust? I truthfully am a little bit of all three. I am worried. I can see how beautiful it is. I can also feel worried, how will we fill the gap? But we have to agree on certain things. AI is here to stay. It's not going away. We can't wish it away. Like, hame nahi chahiye, please jaiye. We can't say that. It has to be here. We have to get used to it. And yes, I am also a little worried, because if ChatGPT can give you answers, so my maths homework is entirely going to be ChatGPT or whichever AI tool people use. Teachers give them maths homework. In any case, CBSE, all solutions are there on the internet. Children are anyway, when at home, they are writing from the net. So the worry for the teachers and principals would remain. Can we go around the problem, reap the benefits, and circumvent the pitfalls? Yes, sure we can. There are huge opportunities. We don't want to ban AI. We want to incorporate AI and we want to review how we can utilize it. What are the worries? I am talking completely from the perspective of teachers, of educators. The worries are first plagiarism. Yeah, I had a student of mine who is now doing PhD and very proudly said, "Ma'am, I've written my dissertation. I passed it through various plagiarism tools. It's come out 100% perfect because now ChatGPT cannot, plagiarism tools cannot catch AI, AI generated material. They are not being able to catch the plagiarism part of it. And that is a major worry because we all teachers would want original work from children. Second is disinformation. And I'll give you some examples, and they are very stark and worrisome. Disinformation. And the third worry that is really keeping me very worried is children are losing critical thinking. When you have somebody else to think for you, why do you need to think for yourself? So if the children lose critical thinking, India is going to get into the abyss. I was talking to a very senior professor in Delhi University who was saying very few children are going in for research and PhD nowadays in India. Or if they want to go abroad and do their PhD. So this is going to get even worse because when everything is so ready-made, how many of them will like to go into analytical, critical thinking mode? So then I decided, for Gagori, I went to my school and talked to my teachers and my students about what they felt. And I thought I'll give some live examples in today's talk. I spoke to a teacher who is an English teacher of the senior classes. And in very clear language, she said, the truth is unavoidable. You cannot stop students from cheating. You can't stop plagiarism anymore. And the only way forward, ma'am, would be to circumvent the usage of AI in assessments. That is, now we depend more on classroom-based assessments than letting them go home and do work which will be based with this help of AI. I am sure in the future there will be ways and means that we can circumvent it, but in my limited knowledge, now I could not see a way that we could do that. Students, one student, I asked the senior children also, children of class 12. One child said, ma'am, AI is very unreliable. I said, now what's that? She says, we just had 2nd October, Gandhiji's birthday in the school. You asked us to take out quotes from his books. She said she went to one of the AI tool and asked for 5 quotes from Mahatma Gandhi's experiment from My Experiment with Truth. It gave back certain quotations. She says, ma'am, you won't believe all 5 are not from his book. She further checked, talked to people, and the 5 quotes that were given up, none of them were genuine. So associative, it is, what is AI? We know it's associative automation, right? You give a word, it associates things and gives you back certain things. So not reliable, very worrisome for teachers like us. Children are depending a lot on a source of information that is unreliable. They're trying to replace teachers with that, with unreliable information, alarm bells. Okay, right. A teacher of business studies also said something very, very unique. He said that he told his children to generate images for the year-end projects. CBSE class 12, we have to make projects at the end for the practicals. So he asked them to generate images from instead of going and searching on net, generated from by an AI tool. And they were searching for, and he says the result showed high bias. Again, a point of worry, big alarm bell, because he said, my teacher or my students went to search for images of business heads. So it's a business studies paper, marketing projects, business heads, CEOs, COs, CMOs, CFOs, directors. And what did AI give up? Only pictures of white males. Can you see all ladies in the panel? Leaders of business, only white males. No females, no colored people, only white males. How biased can it be? Wrong information, misinformation, plagiarism, bias. Do we want our children? What is NCRT doing? NCRT is culling information to make its books to ensure there is no gender bias, there is no caste bias, there is no bias in the books. If there's a little boy with a titli, there's a girl with a titli also in all the books. Where are we taking our people? We are taking our children back to a biased, unbalanced world. And that is my worry. I'm not talking technique at all. I am talking basic usage. And that is where my worry is. There are some people, some children who are very smart. He says, ma'am, AI has its use. We just have to be careful. I personally feel like, again, Mr. Achin Bhattacharyya said, AI cannot replace the human teacher. Where will the human touch be replaced? It cannot. AI classroom without a teacher will not have children listening or doing anything or whatever. So human beings is a must. Teachers have to the teachers have to know how to use AI. What I would say is now is a time for us to tame the horse. It's a wild horse. And we teachers with our tremendous years of experience, I can see Dr. Manisha, Gangwar and Pooja, Sharma with such great experience. We will all agree that this is the time for us to come together and plan how to tame the horse. How much of the AI is going to be used by us? We can't avoid it. We can't throw it away. But we have to use it in a particular way. Yes, like one of the earlier speakers, I'm not recollecting who said, use it as an able assistant. Use AI as an able assistant. You are so overburdened with your work. Use AI to do your work for you. Assessments, record keeping, all this can be done by AI. Of course, one worry comes there, and that is data. Compromise of the data. But I think everything will come with its own security, own safeguards. But yes, there will be, your children's data is going to be there. So we have to learn how to protect that also. Second, one more thing that I always had a worry is whenever I go visiting schools as a consultant, as an invitee, I have had many people tell me, ma'am, how do you, I say that very proudly, that we cater for differential abilities in my school. And that is because I have small classrooms. I have a lesser number of children. So it's very easy to have differential abilities being catered to in my class. But what about schools with the 35, 40 children in the class? How will the teacher cater to all the different abilities? Use the AI. The AI will be able to help us do that. All the assessments being done on the AI will be able to tell you which child needs attention in which sector. And it will really solve a major problem that educators are having now. Access to all. During COVID, I was a part of, we live in a very small town in Uttarakhand. After retirement, I came and opened my own school. And we are very, very much into the hinterland, not much of city touch. But what I really felt that was some schools were being able to offer online classes, but the government school children were not being able to make use of it at all because of lack of accessibility. Yeah, maybe at some point of time, usage of AI might help accessibility problems a little. Information being accessible to everybody. Another thing that I feel that we can start using it for is grading and assessment. Because again, something that I just tried it because somebody told me and I did not believe it. I tried to grade essays through an AI tool. And I cannot tell you, my esteemed colleagues, it was extremely satisfying. Till now, we knew that a computer-based tool can help us to assess objective papers very easily. Yes, no options. But now they are being able to assess even subjective papers, opinion papers. And that is so useful to us. So administrative help, customizing help, accessibility, and grading and assessment are the 4 things which we should just grab and make use of with AI. I'm talking about from the school perspective, not from the student's perspective. They have other plans with AI. So that's a different issue altogether. Yeah. One thing that I'm very happy, again, I don't know how many of you are going to agree. AI is going to slow down a major problem in our education society, coaching classes. Children are so smart. They will see if I can get the answers from AI for free, why should I spend my father's money for coaching classes and tuitions? And I'm telling you, this is one positive trend we are going to have in the future. Coaching classes, private tuitions are going to be on the fall. They are going to start coming down, and that is good news for me. I am very happy. Way forward, change management. People like me will immediately say, oh my God, no, let's shut our mind, will not help. We have to manage the change, adjust, and usher in the new with a lot of grace and a little bit of caution. You have to be graceful. You have to allow the new development to come in. Can't stop it. But we have to be a little careful about it. Second, we have to work within the ethical boundaries of usage. How to do it? Frankly speaking, I have no answers for this. But ethics is very important. I'm very worried about plagiarism. Even textbooks, this is the time of the year when everybody will agree. The booksellers start giving us textbooks. I have seen same language in 3 textbooks. Means they're copying from each other. Where is ethics gone? Right? Then we come down to, have I been shut off?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I just switched off my camera. You're there very much.
Oh, I'm very much there, right? Okay. All right. The third way forward is keeping the pitfalls visible in front of us. We all have to go into AI, but we should know that these are the 3 or 4 things we have to be careful of. And last of all, my request to the technical partners of this AI revolution in education, Gagori, her team, Notebook, and all the technical people in the world who are going to help us educators with AI-enhanced education, that whenever you sit to plan for us, please take educators in your panel. Because you will think of the technical advancement. Only we know how we can use AI. So whenever you all do any planning, ensure that you have educators who understand children, who understand the problem of the schools in the panel, and then we could work all together. Is that good enough for you, Gagori?
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your wonderful deliberations, and also a big thank you for the homework.
Down to basics. There's no point giving lectures to experts. Everybody know more about
it. It was wonderful listening to you. Thank you so much for your deliberations.
Thank you so much.
Indeed. Passing on this topic to to Pooja Sharma, ma'am. Ma'am, if I can come to you. My question to you would be, how much relevant is our AI in schools, and a few examples where AI has positively impacted the school education? Take us.
Thank you, Gagori, and good evening, everyone. I've been hearing about so many things. I think so, ma'am, Rupmala ma'am has really covered it so nicely, and the apprehensions which the school educators management, whether it is the teachers, everyone is worried about the implementation of having AI in classrooms or in the administrative side of the school. Definitely having AI implemented for various administrative work would be beneficial. It is going to help out, it is going to ease the job. But is it only the side of the administration we are looking for the implementation of AI? No. It's AI, as Mr. Phillips said, it's a buzzword, but it's not only the buzzword, it is something which is the future. And we, educators or the students, they cannot survive if they are not being exposed to this new technology, if they for their future prospects also. So definitely AI has to be taught. Definitely we need to implement AI in schools, but in which manner? The concern which were raised by Rupmala ma'am is totally correct. It's totally the things, the apprehensions we still have in our minds, because it's difficult to understand the technology at this point of time. We are like, we always say na, half knowledge is very dangerous, and that's what is happening nowadays also, that we don't have the exact knowledge to it. But definitely the tool, yes, it is a tool, and it is not a threat to the teachers, because that was the first thing which came into the mind of the teachers, that the robots will be in place of us and teaching the children. But that can never happen. Nobody can have that human touch as a teacher would have on the life of these children. You know, like the examples which were given by ma'am, that yes, AI has that content, the facts which we are talking about, but it is not, the AI is not wise. There is no wisdom to it. It doesn't know the difference between right and wrong. That only human being can explain to the children, and that is why human, a teacher is so important even today and will always be important in the future also. But there are various things which AI can do for us, and I don't know till when, seeing the transformation in the education systems, that how AI will be implemented. Because for teachers to understand AI, definitely there need to be a long list of trainings to happen in the schools, so that they become acquainted with the new technology. Because knowing a thing and then really making children understand that thing in the most appropriate manner is very essential. Making them understand that what are the right, like when we were very apprehensive about internet, the usage of internet, because there are positive and negative both aspects of internet being used, the browsing which the children do, that has both the aspects attached to it. Same concern is with the AI also. AI can definitely help us in grading our papers, which is very efficient, that, which is said by ma'am also. It also helps us in having the inclusive education. Yes, the classes where we have 35 to 40 children, understanding the mental ability of the children. Even in one class you will have the diverse kind of children with different intelligences. Some may be able to understand something just by speaking, listening to whatever the teacher is taught. Some may use the visual aids in a much better manner. Some may require something to be done with hands. That is someone who needs to have the experiential experiences in the classrooms. So these kinds of things, a teacher with 35 to 40 children, it's very hard to manage. You cannot have differentiated assignments given to such a big lot. That's where AI can come into place. That's where AI would prove to be, I think so, revolutionary in the field of education, if we are able to really manage to implement those kinds of, and in fact use AI as a tool in this field. So yes, there are apprehensions, there will be apprehensions to it. Now, developing a personalized education system, what we really talk about, which is so difficult, which I was talking about, the differentiated lessons also, assignments also, development of the curriculum, which AI can really help us. Small things in the school education, making a timetable, maybe just putting the names and then having the timetable automatically done, which is a big task. Even one to find out the like the problems in the assignments, maybe problems in the timetable, which the AI can do with the most proficient manner. The different kinds of apps and portals which are used in school system, the ERP system, the fee collection system, and everything can become really, I mean, it can change the whole phase. You can say the whole era will be changed if we will be able to implement AI in the schools. So education definitely is going to get the benefit of AI if it is really applied in a very judicious manner in the schools, with making everyone in the everyone as it like all the stakeholders to understand the importance of using it AI, not just for the sake of becoming, so-called the developed schools or the high maintaining a kind of a standard in schools, but to really enhancing the knowledge of the students and making them, I should say, someone who can compete in this world, where the prospect of their future, their career options will only be opened with the help of AI. So that's it from my end, and I hope that it has proved beneficial with my points in it.
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your response, ma'am. Moving on to Dr. Manisha Gangwar, ma'am. Ma'am, very good evening and welcome to the panel once again. Ma'am, my question to you would be, how much is the necessity of the AI in schools, and any other inputs from your side on the topic?
Yeah, so thank you so much, and good evening, everyone. And I take it as a blessing because majority of the viewpoints have already been put forth, and I really appreciate the views that have been put forth by both Dr. Rupmala, Pooja ma'am, Mr. Burrett, and Mr. Bhattacharyya also. And Gagori, you started off with saying that AI has actually revolutionized our world. And Mr. Bhattacharyya went on to say that AI has revolutionized the way we learn and teach. And Dr. Rupmala has so rightly put forth the entire revolution that has taken place as a result of AI. See, the role of a teacher, is to personalize and teach individuals in the class. And both the panelists have very rightly said that this AI is one forum wherein personalized learning experiences can be provided. And Dr. Rupmala, my school is also very lucky to have an ideal teacher-student ratio. But we all know the ground reality that majority of the schools in our country have 1:45, which is laid down by CBSE, but actually the ground reality is the 1:60 and 65 in a particular class. So there, it is humanly not possible for the teachers to give that personalized learning experience to each individual. And I think AI is going to play a big role by creating learning pathways for each and every student of ours, each and every child of ours. You know, when COVID came, all of us became tech savvy. No, we started using interactive tools like Padlet, Mentimeter, and we also tried assessing our children during the COVID time. And we were all in shock because everybody was getting very good grades. So the integrity of our children, when they go in for online assessments, AI-enabled assessments, the integrity of our children is something that we as teachers have to work upon. We are talking about AI, very relevant, but at the same time, we need to deliberate upon the value system in our schools, the value system that we are trying to inculcate in our own students. And very rightly, both the panelists have pointed out that as far as the teachers are concerned, the basic and the routine work of attendance taking, routine communication with parents, the timetable, the huge task of making the timetable, and again, reshuffling the entire timetable in the entire year, academic year. And during the COVID times, in fact, I don't know about your schools, but in our schools in this part of Punjab, the teachers have to ring up the parents to get the fee. So the fee management has also somehow come up in the hands of the teachers. So this entire routine and the basic work of the teachers, definitely if it is AI enabled and if we have some kind of a school management system, these routine tasks can easily be managed and the energy can be channelized in more productive and more intelligent work. And Dr. Rupmala, you very rightly said that when we give homeworks to our children, when we give projects to our children don't put in effort. They just Google up and the first answer the chat GPT is giving or the Google is giving, they'll just copy it down and produce it in front of us. But then that brings a question to us as educators and teachers also. That means we have to be extra mile intelligent in our ability to create questions. Where I say have open book test, I give you all the information, but I frame the questions in a way that you will have to use your intelligence and your critical thinking. So that is where we as teachers have to be trained. AI, we will be trained. I firmly believe that we are also next, the next generation teachers, because we live with Generation Z. So we are also next generation teachers. And yes, the humanistic approach that we can give, AI cannot give. And I heard that there is a process, there is research going on wherein emotions are being put up in robots. And there's a lot of debate going on that teachers might be replaced by those emotion-induced robotic teachers. But still, I'll say that nobody can replace human beings. That Midas touch of a human being cannot be replaced by such kind of robots. But in this entire talk that we are discussing about AI, my very big fear is the screen dependence. You know, we all in schools are dealing with children who are at a very tender age. So it's not just the screen time, the amount of screen time. It is also once they've got the access to the screen, what they are doing with the screen. And how many parents are conscious enough, have the time to see and monitor what their children are doing with these devices and screens. So this is something that has to be looked into. AI is there to stay. It is there to assist us, all acceptable. But what is now required is our training and the training of parents. And I read somewhere, which I would like to quote, that technology will never ever replace great teachers. But in the hands of great teachers, it is transformational. So that's all from my side, Gagori. That was a blessing because all the viewpoints had already been put forth by our experts.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your input. We have come to the close of this panel discussion, ladies and gentlemen. Would want to thank Mr. Philip Burrett for his wonderful input. Sir, as always, he has set the ball rolling, and you mentioned about the multiple advantages of AI and how personal learning, creating smart content, and of course the gaps which we have to meet. Rupmala Singh, ma'am, your tagline should be like ushering the new with a lot of grace, but with a little bit of caution. Thank you so much for your inputs. Always welcome, ma'am. Pooja Sharma, ma'am, the concerns of AI, the apprehensions, and how AI can be implemented in schools with training and different workshops. You also mentioned how it can be used as a tool for the benefit of the teachers. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your inputs. Manisha, Gangwar, ma'am, how the routine tasks can be led to the AI sector, and how to channelize our energy for the more critical work. Thank you so much for all your inputs, my wonderful panelists. That was really an honor to host all of you today. We would look forward for the next session soon. Keep watching Notebook till then. Thank you, ma'am.